Yeah. I have also uploaded some topic, and you have to write your topic to class CR. There are almost 30 topics I have given. Besides this, if you want to have any other topic of your interest in which you would like to do your master thesis as well, you can also take this one. You can also extend these topics to your master thesis. Here is IEEE survey paper as a sample paper, and there are two other papers which are published by my master and PhD students. And you can see that this paper is actually a journal paper that is an outcome from the MS thesis, MS Computer Science student thesis. And the other one is also a paper written by a master student. So that's why I would like to explain today that how you can have this experience to write a research paper during your master. And it will further increase your degree worth, that you can easily get a scholarship for your PhD. You can also get a very good job related to that area. And as you know that uh, there is always an R&D center in every company. So you can also get a very good job in the R&D center based on your research work. So let's start here that the question is that how you can write how to write a research paper. So the first thing is that research is actually a combination of two words. You have to do search again and again to find the solution for any problem, right? And you can see that after completing this paper, you would be able to know what are different problems in existing techniques. You can say existing techniques, existing approaches, or you can say existing solutions. Existing solution. So you have to actually find these problems, and then later on you can register it as your master thesis, and on this topic and can do your thesis and solve that problem. Another important thing, let me tell you, for example, if you want to start your paper and the paper title is uh, multicast routing protocols in distributed systems. So that will be your title. For example, just for your understanding, I'm giving you an example that this is your title. So you have to write your name here, then your department name, and then the university, and then onward your email address. There is a software you can use. I will also share a link of this Overleaf software that you can use for research paper writing. Right? After this, the remaining parts of this paper will be the paper abstract that you have to explain in short what is the actual contribution of this paper. The other parts will be the keywords, then onward section 1 will start. That is actually the introduction section. Then after this, section 2, this is the literature review portion, in which you will discuss all those papers you have written. In section 3, you will have a comparative analysis of all techniques. In section 4, you will have problems in existing you can also write approaches, existing techniques, existing protocols, right? And the section 4, what are your recommendation? What are your recommendation to address any problem, not all, any problems among all these? And section 6, that will be the tools for simulation and implementation. And also you have to compare these tools, right? In next section, that will be section number 7, you will have the conclusion and future work of this paper or of your idea. And the last section, that will be the section 8, you will have to write the references, right? And you should write these references. This is 8. You have to write a reference like this as per IEEE format, that is the author's name, and then onward paper title. So the paper may be published in a conference. So for example, if it's a conference paper, then you have to write conference details, number of conference, and similarly where and when it was held. For example, you can say that where is this is University of Missouri, Kansas City. The conference was at UMKC-MO and it was held, for example, from 3rd to 5th July 2020. Right? This is for conference. And similarly, for if there it's a journal paper, then you have to write the author's name, then the paper title, then the journal name. Over here you have something different related to journal, that can be the issue number of the journal, volume number of the journal, pages number of the journal, and similarly the date of publications. Like here it is published on 2nd of May 2020. So this is actually the references you have to give, and these numbers you will mention there, from where actually you get this idea in introduction portion and in literature review, right? Okay, going back toward the research paper to show you the topics. And you can see here that there are many topics given over here. Look at this. Dear student, propose research paper topics in advanced operating systems. Dear student, please register your topic with class CR and remember there should be no repetition of topic, right? Every students are a group of 2 students should have totally different research papers, right? And there are many topics you can see over here. A review on deadlock handling in modern system with fungible resources, comparative analysis of optimal strong password authentication in distributed system, similarly partitioning, similarly reservation aware operating system, and there are fault tolerance, energy aware applications. There are many topics I have actually given here for your understanding. And let me show you the research paper as well.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah,
Can you ask the class if they email me their topics, can they also email the name of the student they're partnering with? Because then I can make sure of the
yeah,
list
yeah,
of the students who
of
are.
course. They will keep them in CC and they will send you the group members and the paper titles,
Yes,
right?
because like I'm receiving some emails from single students and then I have to specifically ask them who's your partner. So that's not the way it
No,
works.
they should give the name of their partner in email, as well as they should keep the partner in CC as well of that email,
Yes,
right?
yes. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, thank you.
Professor, Professor,
So here is the research paper. As I told you in module 4, the first paper is the IEEE. So you can see over here, it's an IEEE communication survey and tutorial paper. And the paper title is a multicast routing protocol for mobile ad hoc networks. And you can see the abstract of this paper over here. This first, these are the author names and their affiliations are given here at the over here, right? That who are these students and they belongs to which university. Look at this, the McGill University, Canada, right? And some others are from China as well. So coming here back to the abstract, you can see that they have written the abstract in steps. First, they have defined this mobile ad hoc network. Then they discuss about what is multicast routing, why it is important, and then they had discussion about the routing protocols. And similarly, they also have the discussion about that what they will do in this paper. And you can see over here that they have written that in order to provide a comprehensive understanding of these multicast routing protocols designed for minutes and pave the way for the further research, a survey of this multicast routing protocol is discussed in detail. Based on their primary multicast routing selection, we show that all these protocols could be placed under one of two broad routing selection categories, and they actually provide the comparative analysis of all these protocols. Now you can see here, these are the index terms which I mentioned over there as the keywords. So these keywords are actually the technical words that will be used in your papers. Next is the introduction, in which you can again see that your title is actually break up into parts, and they explain every part of that title in introduction part. Here is that they are explaining what is mobile ad hoc network, you can see over here, and after that they are explaining the multicast communication over here. That what is multicast communication, why we go for multicast routing protocols, and the details about are the importance or the application of multicast protocols in mobile ad hoc networks. Similarly, it will continue. Now, another important thing here, you can see that he has given the paper structure at the end of this introduction. This is the paper structure in which he is actually discussing different sections of this paper. You can see the remainder of this paper is organized as, in section 2, we present a basic research on unicast and multicast protocol, right? Several characteristics of multicast routing protocols are given in section 3. Section 4 present the taxonomy of the multicast routing protocol and place them under either one of the two routing strategy. In section 5, we analyze some typical multicast routing protocol. In section 6, we conclude the survey by presenting a tabulated summary of the routing philosophies and other means important parameters related to that. And finally, we draw the conclusion and discuss direction of future work about the multicast routing protocol in mobile ad hoc network. So this is actually the end of introduction. From here, they actually start another section that is routing protocol, and now they are discussing. Look at this: unicast routing protocol, multicast routing protocol, and similarly the other protocols related to this area. So from here, they actually start evolution principle. Look at this, the parameters based on which you will evolve these protocol. You can also see here the categories of these routing protocol. Over here, you can see the categories of these routing protocols. Either they are flooding based, or they are proactive, they are reactive, and similarly, based on these characteristic in section 3, there is actually the taxonomy. You can see the protocols, then onward the subdivisions of application dependence and independence, then further subdivision, and then onward the parameters based on which they will judge these protocols. So later on after this, they have actually started these protocols, and you can see from here, this is application and dependence based routing protocol. So here they are explaining the protocol work, that how it will work in different environment, and how it will handle different types of queries or different types of route discovery procedures. And over here, they are also giving the pros and cons of these concepts. So here you can see the 1, 2, 3 of every protocol. This is another protocol, application dependent, and then further they are discussing these protocol one by one. Here is the share tree ad hoc protocol, similarly adaptive protocols, then the bandwidth, then the mesh based, and there are many protocols they have discussed so far. If you look at their final table, you can see that they have almost 32 protocols over here. 32 protocols they are discussing over here, and the parameters are given over here. That is E, F, H, Y, L, M, P, Q, R, S, T. And multicast routing selection. If you want to know that what does this E, F, H, Y means, then you can see at the bottom of this table, and you can see over here. AI is for application independence, AD is for application dependence, E is for energy aware, F is for flat, H is for hierarchical, HY is for hybrid, L is for location, M is for mesh, and similarly many more other parameters as well. That is actually a kind of smart table. If instead of this E, F, Y, this Y is for yes, N is for no, instead of writing these yes, no, and scalabilities, the full names, it will be very difficult to accommodate this table here on this single page. It will definitely jump to the second page as well. That's why this table is actually called a small table. You can also overview the future work. Here are the protocols name. He's actually discussing over here. You can see he has just mentioned over here the abbreviations. And then the detail names are given over here. Like for example, this is AMRIS is used for ad hoc multicast routing protocol, utilizing increasing ID numbers. Similarly, the other one is LAM, that is lightweight adaptive multicast algorithm. So you will also need to draw, and this is actually the conclusion. He has a discussion about every topic over here in future work, and then onward here he discussed about scalability. That I told you that will be your recommendations from your side. Excuse me, is there any question? Anything? Okay. So next is the address configuration he is showing, and remember that all these parameters will be different for different topic. It will not remain the same for all topics. It is also a kind of task that you have to find the parameters based on which you will judge your system. Like for example, the parameter used for your grading or uh, for your progress monitoring is your GPA, your marks in quiz, your marks in assignment, your class participation, and many other things. So similarly, here is at the end, he acknowledged to the authors, or if you have any funding agency, you can also acknowledge your teachers. You can also acknowledge the university, the department, whatever you want. And here is the paper reference that I told you. You can see from here that here are the author name, then the paper title, then the journal name, IEEE Communication Magazine, and volume number, then the issue number, then the pages, and then onward in which date, in which month it was actually published, and the year as well. So this is a kind of a reference you can give over your paper from where you copied, not copied actually, but from where you get this idea. Remember, you have to write everything in your own words. There should be no plagiarism in your work. You just read paper and you just write the main concept over there. Uh, Another paper, let me show you over here, is another paper, and this is again written by the master student. Yeah, so this paper is also published in IEEE journal, and it is published in last year in 2019, and you can see the congestion avoidance for smart devices by caching information in MANET. So here is again, you can see the bandwidth she has start from the mobile ad hoc networks, then the index terms, then the introduction part of this paper, and then onward explaining the scenario with the different diagrams. And these are the references. You can see the 14, 16s. These are 9 and 12. These are actually the references. One means 13. The references that author has mentioned about her literature review. These are the mathematical models, though it will not be required from you, but still you should write the main concept of this paper, which you are reading, and you should add it in your research article. So now moving back, that how you will start your abstract, and then onward the introduction. So here it is. Let's start from the same title over here. This is again multicast routing protocol in distributed system. So this is here will be your name, department, school, and university, and then the email address. So now you have to start from the abstract. So in abstract, you have to actually divide your title into parts. So this is, look at this is the first part. This is the second part. And this is the third part. So you have to write an abstract about the first part, that what are distributed system. Distributed system and its importance. You have to write it into 2 to 3 lines. The next step will be the multicast routing. And you have to write 2 to 3 lines about multicast routing. And the third one will be application of multicast routing. Again, 2 to 3 lines. What are different applications of these? What are drawbacks, or you can say the pros and cons of these protocols? And similarly, the last part, you have to write what you did in this paper. In this paper, we will analyze, we will evaluate, we will compare existing routing protocols for multicast communication in distributed system. So this is actually all about your abstract that you have to write, abstract. And after this, you have to start the keywords, or you can also say the index terms. And these will be the technical words you will use in your, the technical terms you will use in your paper earlier. There is possibility that you can update your abstract abstract and keywords from time to time. So as you will learn, let me keep it a bit separate from that. As you will learn new things, as you read more research papers. So that's why you can update abstract and keywords later on, right? So here the technical words, and then you have to start from section 1. That is the introduction part. So in introduction part, you will again write the same. Over here you can see you are writing 2 to 3 lines. 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 But here in introduction, you will write distributed system, but it will be 1 to 2 paras. 1 to 2 paras. And similarly, you have to write about the multicast routing. That will again be 1 to 2 paras. Over here, you have to add a diagram in which you show a distributed system in which multicast communication is going on. So this is actually the main thing, that if someone, this is for the understanding of your audience, and explain this diagram as well. Explain this diagram in words as well. So if someone is reading your paper, he should understand that what you actually want to show in this diagram. After this, you have to write application of multicast routing. You can also add important application of multicast routing protocols in distributed systems. So that is important that you should, this actually, this application by discussing in distributed system is a kind of justification that you are giving, the justification of multicast routing, or you can say the importance of multicast routing protocols in distributed system. And after this, you have to start the paper structure. And this paper structure will be, as I told you, you will not discuss section 1, but you will start from section 2. Section 2 present the latest literature review. What is in section 3? In section 3, we have given a comparative analysis. We have given a comparative analysis. In section 4, we identified different problems in existing multicast routing protocols. And similarly, you have to discuss section 5, section 6, section 7, section 8, etc. on this spectrum. And all these things will depend on your title page or on your title as well, that how you actually work with this. And now in section 2, that is section 2 is the literature review. Some authors may write it as a related work. And over here in the start, you have to give intro to section. So what you will do in this section? So you have to write in this section, we will discuss the updated research papers. The updated research papers. And after this, you have to start the protocol. For example, it's protocol number 1. So you have to write how this protocol work, and it should be in 1 to 2 para, not more than that. You have to squeeze and you have to write to the point that how this protocol work in the system. And similarly, the next one is about the pros and cons. That what are the pros and cons? Or you can say the positive and negative points. Or you can say the advantages and disadvantages. And in work, you have to explain the procedure. The procedure, how explore routes. This is the working. This is the working of this protocol. And now you have to explain protocol 2 with the same pattern, working 1 to 2 para, and similarly the positive and negative points. Similarly, the protocol 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have to at least explain 10 protocols. Or similarly, you should have the 10 approaches as well. Or you can say the 10 techniques, the 10 algos, right? Existing. And you have to explain the pros and cons are the positive and negative points of all protocols. And remember, these positive and negative points are these pros and cons will become an entry in your table at the end. It will become an entry inside your table. So after this, as we discussed here on this slide, here, literature, then you have to give the comparative analysis. You can see this is the comparative analysis. You will move to the comparative analysis. For comparative analysis, that is actually the section 4. For comparative analysis, you have to select parameters based on which you can evaluate or you can judge a protocol. Like if you want to judge a student in class, you have to check his quiz marks, his assignment marks, his paper marks, and his class participation. So similarly, you can have a table over here with the protocol name. And then, for example, protocol A, B, C, D, E, F. And here is the parameters. Like the first parameter is the throughput. But you have to make a smart table. For example, you have to write a throughput here, and then throughput T actually means throughput. T is equal to, and over here you have to write the delay, then you have to write D is equal to delay as it was given in that smart paper. If it is Y, it means that is equal to yes. If it is N, then it is equal to no. So these are the parameters you should take for delay, for scalability, for real-time communication, for overhead, and for full duplex communication, and similarly many more, etc. But remember, these parameters will be based on your topic, right? So in case you have a different topics, then you will have different parameters as well. You can write here like throughput is high, throughput is low, throughput is low, throughput is high, throughput is high, delay is low, delay is high, delay is high, delay is low, delay is low, scalability, yes, scalability, yes, no, no, yes, yes. Real-time communication at afford, yes, 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 no, no, yes. High overhead, overhead is high, overhead is high, overhead is low, overhead is medium, overhead is low, overhead is high, right? So similarly, you have to draw your table as well. And from this table, now you can move to the next section, that is section number 5, and that is problems in existing protocols. So what are problems in existing protocol? Another important thing here, that you have to explain these, you have to discuss this table in the same section. You have to discuss with reason why it is high. And you can even combine multiple protocols. For example, over here, 4 are yes, scalability yes, 2 are no. So you can combine these 4 protocols and explain it together. Explain it together. So this is actually the most important thing, that you can combine similar things over here. The problems here, so now you have to explain one by one. What are the problems? Problem 1, problem 2, that is, for example, high overhead, scalability issue, low throughput, no real-time communication support. So these are actually the problems, and solution of any single problems will enable you to get your master thesis, to get your MS thesis. So this is actually helping you to do or to successfully complete your master thesis. And in section 6, you can see what are your recommendations. You can see from here as well. Here, section 4 and section 5, what are your recommendations? And similarly, the tools, you can take it from there. Which protocol are best and why? Give the reason. Which protocol are poor and why. Or you can also give scenario based. That in this scenario, this protocol will be best and this one will be the poor. In next section, you can also give the tools. Tools for simulation and tools for implementation. So you can find these tools from research papers you will study. You will study in literature review or in related work. So you can find these tools, and similarly you will have serial number, tools, A, B, A, B, A, A, A. So look at this, then you can identify that most authors or most researchers are using tool A for their simulation and implementation. Right? So from here you can get this idea that which tool can be more important for this. And after this you have to write the conclusion and future work. So what do you actually conclude from this work? And what are the future directions for yourself as well as for other students slash readers are your juniors. And then after that you have to write the reference. And I already told you that how to write a reference for the conference paper and how to write the reference for your journal paper. So that's all from my side to write this research paper. And now if you have any question, you can ask.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if he hears you.
So speak a bit loud.
Oh, yeah. So can you hear me now?
Excuse me.
Okay. So I have a question. So you mentioned that if we are working on research for like in our institution, like in the UMKC, then we can use that as our research topic for master thesis. So I was wondering if that has to be about operating system or if it can be about anything else.
Actually, you are studying operating system course, so that's why it should be related to operating system.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yeah. Is there any other question? If there is no question, then we can